So these stories, the boy and Nessie story, they're a bit different from the sort of rollicking army yarns, aren't they?
Yeah, well,
So tell me about how you approached writing those, because I imagine it was different to write those than it was to write some of the funny things about monkeys in the army and what have you.
nothing wrong with monkeys in the army. Yeah, no, you never forget something like Nessie, and you know, it took 20 years before I could go back to it and start writing it down and recording it. But what happened over those 3 days is a blur, but you do recall things. So what I've basically done is written down what I could record, you know, and there's obviously other things that went on. At the cemetery, we sponsored kids' league teams, and at the cemetery the league club had bought their kits, and as we carried her coffin to the grave, well, the kids did the haka and all that sort of stuff, you know, that was going on as well. But just for Nessie's story, I decided, because the dog actually howling outside was the one that's probably the cause of Nessie's story, you know, because she did, you know, that actually occurred, and and the dog obviously was grieving, you know. So that was probably the basis for writing that story.
And was it hard to write? I mean, even now I can't really read it without getting a bit of a tear.
Yeah, no, when I read it I can get a tear in my eye. When I sit down to write, I don't actually think about what I'm doing, the words just come out, you know, and it's only when you go back and read it you realise the input of what you've written. Well, that's how I find it. That's when you're writing well, you know, so so just flowed out, if you like, you know.
Yeah, that certainly caught something.